What do I mean? Like, okay, so how about, are you leaving?
Are you referring to the press?
He's gone. I'll say it right now.
All right, guys, like many of you, I did tune in for Tim Pool's live stream with Kanye, Milo, and Nick Fuentes. Okay, I was super excited about it because as soon as I saw that it was pulling up, I was like, oh, this is about to get real. Okay, so I actually watched it for the 20-30 minutes that it lasted before Kanye ended up walking off set. Okay, and I want to talk about that because I just want to give my opinion about what's going on, right? I think that as a YouTuber, I think I could give a perspective on kind of what happened in that situation, and just kind of chime in on it because I think that Tim Pool should have known better when he invited Kanye to interview that it was probably going to go down like this if he was not willing to actually go there with Ye, a man who basically has lost everything for his opinions. Okay, so just to recap, if you guys did not actually watch the interview, basically the interview went down like this. Milo, Kanye, and Nick Fuentes pulled up to Tim Pool and his house, his compound, for an interview. And basically, as soon as the interview started, Kanye started to get into his rant about them, right? Or they, right? And you already know who they is, okay? And Tim Pool basically was pushing back against Kanye and his anti-Semitism, right? And that's when things kind of went off the rails because Kanye had warned Tim multiple times throughout the podcast that, look, I lost everything, bro. And they are responsible for me losing everything. Therefore, you're not going to sit here and put me through a Lex Fridman type podcast, in which if you guys watch Kanye with Lex Fridman basically just lectured Kanye like literally the whole podcast on him being anti-Semitic. I'm pretty sure that pissed Kanye off. Kanye also was on with Piers Morgan, Chris Cuomo. So y'all got to understand, Kanye had been through multiple interviews where people are literally lecturing him on anti-Semitism while he is having this experience that he believes personally is caused by them, right? And Tim Pool is pushing back against Kanye, basically trying to say, look, you can't do that, right? You can't characterize a whole group of people like that. You cannot do that. You shouldn't do that. And Kanye basically gave a counterpoint and said, look, y'all do that all the time with the black vote, right? You do that all the time with black people. Why can't I do it with them, right? Why can't I do it with them? Which I'm gonna keep it 100 with you guys. There's a whole lot of black people, particularly those who lean more conservative, that feel this way. Okay, I'm telling you because, you know, me personally, you know, I'm on the anti-victimhood stuff, right? I don't like any group, you know, out here claiming to be oppressed and you get special victim status and all that stuff. I'm not down with any of it. Okay, so we're not gonna sit here and allow that for, you know, certain groups of people, but we're not gonna allow it for others. Like, I'm just not with it. You know what I'm saying? So I can tell that Kanye, he just didn't like that energy, right? Especially again with Tim Pool talking about, I think Kanye be good for the black vote because he's black, right? But then you can't generalize when it comes to them, right? Or they, okay? Again, that's that energy right there. I think that's what kind of threw the whole interview off. And I think everybody in the room, except Tim, picked up on that, but Tim Pool didn't. And again, you know, that's kind of how the conversation went. And again, at multiple points in the podcast, Kanye basically told Tim Pool that, look, you're not going to sit here and tell me that I can't say the things that I want to say. I've lost everything. You're not going to do that to me.
But see,
since 1940, go ahead.
I was gonna say, isn't that an issue of these individuals? Like you're extrapolating.
I'm going to order with the last of my money that's available in a different account. I'm going to order a PJ before I sit and have another Lex Friedman setup conversation when I'm literally they're trying to put me in jail for my opinion.
But I get that.
I'm not going to have that opinion. I don't care about people. Those are bots that are trying to tell you. We realize, look at Pence. He sold Trump out. You get what I'm saying? It's like, I would have never wanted to do anything that hurt Trump. I'm on Trump's side. Trump said things that hurt me. He lied about me, but I mean, he's known for lying. And when people used to tell me that, he's a liar, it's like, I went into the trenches for Trump. That's another conversation. There was no one in my position that wore that hat.
Yeah. So again, as you saw that in that exchange, Tim Pool basically tried to say, look, again, it's about individuals, right? You can't characterize a whole group of people, right, just based off their religion or their race or whatever. And Kanye is just like, no, I can say what I want to say. I'm going to say what I want to say because this is my experience. That's just the gist of the conversation. And then Tim Pool basically kind of did it again. And Kanye kind of called out Tim Pool and the fact that Tim Pool can't even say who they is, right? Which I'm going to explain to you guys why. But at that point, that's when Kanye walks off because I think he realizes that the conversation is actually pointless because you can't have a real conversation on Tim Pool's show. And again, I'm explaining to you guys why. Take a look.
Yeah, I think they've been extremely unfair to you.
Who is they though? We can't say who they is,
corporate
can we?
press. I'm not using I don't use the word as the way I guess you guys use. I'm talking.
It is
about
them though, isn't it? I mean, because
No.
because when you think about it, consider it. In 2018.
What do you mean it's not?
What do I mean? Like, okay, so how about, are you leaving?
Are you afraid of the press?
He's gone. I'll say it right now.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Okay, I think Kanye kind of realized in that moment when Tim basically refused to acknowledge who they is, okay, what Kanye West was talking about, considering the fact that Kanye is saying that I went through all these things. I think Kanye realized that it's a waste of time to sit here and have a real conversation with Tim Pool because it's just going to go the same way that all his other conversations has went, where they're literally going to spend the whole time basically trying to tell Ye that his feelings are wrong and that he shouldn't feel the way that he feels, right? That's basically how his conversation with Piers Morgan went, Chris Cuomo, Lex Friedman. It's like he doesn't want to have that conversation. He's not going to have anybody tell him that his feelings are invalid. That's just, it is what it is. And I don't think that Tim Pool was actually getting that. It's either that or Tim Pool realizes what everybody realizes when you have a YouTube channel and your primary source of income comes from YouTube, right? Especially when you are live streaming and you have individuals who've been banned from the internet, all three of them really, Kanye, Milo, and Nick Fuentes, which is that you have to push back against everything. Right? That's the reality of what's going on here. Okay. I know that Tim Pool is known for not letting his guests talk, but in certain situations, when you have certain people on, right? Especially you talk about people like Kanye, who literally does not give a F because he's lost everything. So he don't give a damn if he brings down Tim Pool's show. And Tim Pool does not have the same protection that corporate media has, right? He doesn't have the same protection as Piers Morgan or Chris Cuomo. YouTube don't give a damn. Right? If Kanye goes off on his anti-Semitic rants, right, in which Tim just allows Kanye just to go on and on and on about it, he's risking getting the stream pulled, right? And if the stream gets pulled, he gets a strike, he loses a week's worth of income, if not worse. So Tim has to push back against Kanye. He can't just let Kanye just go on and on and on because he's at risk of getting the stream pulled down. There's no doubt in anybody's mind that YouTube is watching, right? YouTube is watching and they're just waiting to hit the nuke button, right? And Tim Pool knows that. And that's why I wish that Tim Pool would just be upfront and just be real about it and say, look, I have to push back and I have to say these things because if I don't, then I'm risking the stream getting pulled. Okay, look what happened to the Drunken Peasants podcast. That guy basically came out and was like apologizing to the mob because of the Kanye interview. And they let Kanye go on and on and on about his, experiences and the things he was saying. And basically they had to take it down. And people that reposted that podcast got strikes, right? They got strikes for reposting it because Kanye went on and on and on and on and on. And at some point, YouTube is just going to say no. Tim Pool knows that. Everybody that makes YouTube videos knows that, right? That's something that every content creator has to think about when you put out any piece of content. You have to think about, okay, does this violate YouTube's rules? And if it does violate YouTube's rules, you have to give, I think, what they call counter context, where you have to basically say what they want you to say in order to keep the video up. Like, for example, when it came to the vaccine and COVID, right? There's a list of things that claims that you can't make about the vaccine and COVID, or at least there was, right? Back when it was really censoring this stuff. And if those claims were made during the video, you have to push back. You have to give a counterclaim that YouTube agrees with, or else you're going to get a strike for misinformation. Same thing. You have to push back and say, hey, we're talking about individuals here. You can't just smear a whole group of people based off their religion. Okay, you can't do that. You have to make sure that you're pushing back actively, or you risk the stream getting pulled. And I'm pretty sure that's what's going on here. I just wish Tim Pool would be upfront about it. And if you know that, why don't you just stream on Rumble? Yay, Nick Fuentes and Milo is a big enough audience. That's a big enough pool where you're still going to get a ton of super chats. You're still going to get a ton of revenue on Rumble. Run it on YouTube and Rumble at the same time. Okay, allow Kanye to say the things he's saying. If he gets into his anti-Semitic rant, then cut it on YouTube and play it on Rumble. That's what you got to do. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. Because otherwise, you don't bring guests on the show, and then, I mean, they already tell you multiple times, I'm going to walk off if you keep trying to tell me that my experiences are invalid, and then you keep doing that, right? You got to let them talk. You got to let them say the things that they want to say. I mean, I get it. Kanye was on some rant. He was saying a whole bunch of stuff that didn't make sense. But it's like, unfortunately, like, yes, it is your show and you are supposed to be controlling the interview, but Kanye is going to say the thing Kanye wants to say, right? After Kanye walked off, Tim was talking about, I want to get into, him running for president and what happened with Trump and all this other stuff. And it's like, basically what you're saying is that I wanted to get through all the juicy stuff first before the whole anti-Semitism stuff came up that could potentially nuke the stream, right? That's basically what he's saying. I want to make my money first before we get into the stuff in which we would have to basically do a members only thing. That's what he wanted. But unfortunately, again, this is Kanye. Now, I do have some criticisms for Kanye. I will say, it looks like him and Nick Fuentes have a great relationship, right? Which is interesting. Again, Nick Fuentes, the supposed white nationalist, white supremacist, this is what the media says, right? He's super racist. He seems to have a great time hanging out with Kanye, a black guy, and supporting him for president. I'm just saying. But I do have criticisms for Kanye in the sense that if you're going to be a presidential candidate, you can't act like this, bruh. You just can't walk off of set because, people are invalidating how you feel. I get it. You've lost millions and millions of dollars. You have your feelings, but you have to understand that Tim Pool has a show that you can't be uncensored like that. You got to play by certain rules. I get it that you don't want to play by all those rules, but you got to. Okay? And it really does call into question. I think it is legitimate to ask the question of Kanye's temperament, right? Like, if you're going to do this on a podcast, what are you going to do if you're president? And I think that DJ Academics, who I did a video about the other day, him supporting Trump for president, actually made a great point about Kanye and his attitude when it comes to certain things and how that could play out if he actually became president. And I thought it was hilarious enough that I had to share it. And this is the perfect opportunity to do so. So go ahead and roll the clip.
Politics, I ain't gonna lie. The only vote you might have is motherfucking, actually, no. Kodak finna vote for Uncle Trump. Ain't nobody vote for no motherfucking Kanye. Didn't like 2 Chainz say would vote for Kanye? Yeah, all right. Nigga, Kanye was losing his mind because he thought Pete Davidson had a bigger dick than him. Imagine what the fuck he would do if he found out that Kim Jong-un had the schlong. Oh my God, he would probably press the nuclear codes. Nigga, fuck it. Drop the bomb on them bitch ass nigga. Imagine he found out that Putin had that 12-inch. Oh my God. Nah, hell no. Nah, we can't have Kanye in this shit. Nah. Kanye trying to spread an AIDS rumor about a nigga just because that nigga had a bigger dick than him, bro. What the fuck would he do to Putin, nigga? Like, come on. Nah. We got to come correct now. We got to get back to basics. If he was finna do that, we not about to do that. Kanye, you tweaking, boy. Nigga had a bigger dick than you. You was ready to say he had AIDS. Imagine if Kim Jong-un had that motherfucking $5 footlong on your ass. Like, nah, hell nah. Putin to hit you with some shit talking about he had a 13-inch. Like, nah, nigga, you might wipe off the eastern part of the map. Nah, we good, bro.
That clip kills me. But it's so true. It's so true, bro. If you ain't gonna act like this when it comes to the slightest bit of pushback or adversity, it's like, bro, you really can't have your hands on the nuke codes, bro. Like, real talk. They said that about Trump, but Trump is not like this, okay? Trump has walked off some interviews, but this right here was just kind of, this is not a good look for Kanye. Again, I'm just giving you guys my opinion on the situation, okay? I think there's fault on both sides. I just think, again, Tim, if he's going to do a stream like this with those types of characters, he got to just do it on Rumble, bro. Do it on Rumble and let them talk, and also listen. Listen when they tell you that, look, I'm going to walk off if you keep saying whatever or you keep invalidating my experience. You got to listen, or else you're risking, your guest walking off. And Tim ultimately probably would have done better off with just, again, letting Kanye talk and waiting until Kanye finished to talk about the things that Tim wanted to talk about, or to try to switch the subject or whatever, and just streamed it on Rumble. He would have got just as many people, I believe, because I would have went to Rumble to watch it. Okay, I would have went over to Rumble. A lot of people would have went over to Rumble, and instead of, again, doing this thing where, again, you have to continue to push back. You got to push back. Because, again, you're trying to save the stream on YouTube. Again, Kanye don't care, bruh. Kanye lost everything, right? So, I mean, it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.